go with it. Let me see if I can just make one adjustment here. I promise I was not planning on all of this interruptions today, but I mean, do we ever get to plan life's interruptions? No. Because if we did, we wouldn't we wouldn't fucking plan them, right? So, okay. So, I've been thinking, oh my gosh, okay, wait. It's okay, this is not a joke. I was trying to make a joke out of it the other day, and it totally backfired on me, and it became this really ridiculous, funny thing that my family and I keep referencing now, and I have to share it with you all because it's so stupid funny, okay? Oh, I forgot to tell you why I'm so happy. Sorry. I got distracted by my horses. I'm so happy because the sun is shining. It's getting up to 81 degrees today, and I am wearing a sleeveless shirt. Anyone that knows me knows I am a summer girl all the way. I wear as little clothes as possible, and I know that sounds disturbing, but I'm sorry, but I love the sun. The sun makes me so happy. The heat does not bother me. So I'm really, really happy that the sun is shining and it's warm. Even though it's a little windy, it's like this beautiful gift from the universe today. Truly, truly, truly. So the other day, I was at the table, and Jennifer, Nate, and I were at the table. We were working on Freedom for the Taking business stuff. Okay, are you coming in too? What? Right now, I was thinking about coming in and joining us. And Nate sneezes. Okay, so you guys know my joke about what did one nut say to the other nut when he sneezed? Cashew, right? Okay, so one of the horses is rubbing on the trailer. You can hear the sounds. Anyways, so Nate sneezes, and it's like a totally what our family says now all the time. Like we say cashew. And so I looked over at Nate and I was like, cashew. And then in the time between his second sneeze, which everyone knows is usually not very long, I thought, I want to say something different besides cashew. I want to say a different nut now. Let me just pick a different nut. So then he sneezes again, and I go to yell out a different nut name. And then what came to my brain, don't ask me why, was nutmeg. I don't know why, so what happened is he sneezed, and I want to yell nutmeg, and as I was yelling it, I realized halfway through that nutmeg is not actually a nut, it is a spice. And just because it has the word nut in it doesn't officially make it a nut. So then I felt like, oh my God, I can't yell nutmeg, that's not a freaking nut. So what do? So to save face, I stopped halfway and I said, nut! Silence. There was this really weird, awkward silence. And Jennifer and Nate look over at me with these very confused faces, like, what? And then I just busted up laughing. I said, oh my gosh, okay, that's not what I meant to say. I know that made no sense. I was trying to, and then I explained it to them, and oh my God, they started laughing so hard. Jennifer couldn't breathe. She was like, I need air, but she couldn't breathe. She was laughing so hard at my stupidity because the way my brain worked, I don't understand. I was just thinking, I need to say a name of a nut, and nutmeg came, and then I was like, oh God. Anyways, you guys, so that is now our new thing. So 1 sneeze is cashew, 2 sneezes, nut, and that's it. You don't need to explain. You just yell that the second time the person sneezes and walk away with a big smile knowing that that came from a very weird place of my brain. I had to share it with you guys. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about today is balance. So last week I was working on business stuff in town. They had this remote workers day at let me see if I can get the name of it. Oh, dang it. Joseph Newman. Joseph Newman's Innovation Center in Joplin was hosting a free day where remote workers could come work there. There's high-speed internet, and it was just it was like a free day pass. Because apparently, I didn't know this, but Joplin recently ranked number 2 in the United States most popular places for remote workers. So I went there and was working for the day, working on a presentation I have coming up. And it was great because we had high-speed internet, it was a quiet place to work, and it was free. Anyways, there was a couple other people working there also, and one of the people I had met at a previous business function, networking event. Anyways, I had given him my flyers and my information and just talked to him for a few minutes. Anyways, so he turned to me and said, "Hey, I have a question for you. I see that you're, an entrepreneur and you're a mom and you have a farm." And he just said, "How do you juggle everything?" And what was really cool was at that moment I was also blogging. I was catching up on some blogging, and the blog that I had just written, you guys could read it. It's on biketotype.com. I believe it's my latest one called Yoga Life Lessons. Anyways, I had just blogged about yoga that morning and what I had learned from it. So I was able to share with him. It was all about balance in life. I was able to share with him, well, it's interesting you just asked that. I just wrote a blog about my thoughts on balancing life. And I figured this out when I was doing yoga. This interesting thought came to me. And I that's one thing I love about yoga is I may not be getting much more flexible, but it is really good for my mind. We had this hour-long yoga session, and I've never done an hour-long one. I do yoga with Adrienne. She has free videos. She's amazing on YouTube. You can find her. But this one was an hour-long one, and it really tried me. It was like super challenging because for me to be in one place even though you're not just in one place, you're on a mat moving around, was very hard. I like to be moving and walking through life. Zelle came over to say hi. Bye, sweetie. And just go, go, go. That's why running is like my choice of exercise, and I do not like running on a treadmill. I have to be outside. I have to be seeing the progress I'm making, looking at the countryside, being immersed in nature. So being on the yoga mat, I was just like, this is going to be the longest hour of my life. But I had committed to myself that I would stick with it and have a good attitude. That was my, like she usually says, think of something just to, kind of like your motto for the day. So mine was stick with it, have a good attitude. What I realized during that hour-long yoga session was that as I started getting tired and more fatigued, the farther I got holding these poses, and she was having us do a bunch of balancing poses. The more tired I got, the more I was falling over. And I know that's like, that's not like, wow, what an amazing concept. But for me, it was just this really simple thing of like, you know what? That is when I do realize it is hardest for me in life to find balance with my life, is when I'm tired. Like, if I don't plan in times for self-care and for me to take breaks or even do things that I love, if I don't plan those in, then I get really bad at balancing my life. Things go shitty. And then it's like I can't even figure out what's up and down and what's making me fall over and what to adjust, because once I just get too tired, everything feels terrible, nothing makes sense, and I don't know the right answer. It's like I have to force myself to stop and take a break. And that's one of the cool things that, in this yoga that I do, Adrienne talks about, she'll build in these small little breaks. And for a person like me that is very much like a workout type, running type, it's hard for me to take breaks. I always feel like, oh, you're a loser. You took a break. But the truth is, if I don't take these breaks, I can't balance very well. And so I've been thinking a lot about my life because things are getting busier with my business. I'm really excited. I've got 3 meetings set up for this week, and a business eventing breakfast. And next week I've got a presentation, and then I've got a nonprofit that helps with fostering families. They're going to come out here, foster.connect. They're going to do a farm tour. I've offered to give some free sessions for teens in the foster families, and so just really trying to